Hello, lovebirds. TonyaTko here, and as you see, today is Sunday, and I'm not dressed to do a video, but I was just in the office, and I was doing some work, and I posted some stuff on Facebook, which sparked up this need for me to impart some of my big sister wisdom on you today. And this video is for the ladies, so men, you can go ahead and eject yourselves from the video now. The title of today's video is the three hidden keys to communication with men, or communicating with men. And when we start talking about my book, Lessons from a Motherless Child, 10 Most Crucial Secrets About Love, Sex, and Self-Esteem, I learned the hard way so that you won't have to. I am going to give you some of the secrets that I have learned from my life. So this is directly from me to you. So let's talk about it. Part of what spurred this debate, or part of what spurred this topic, is I made a post on Facebook. We were talking about rape, and I decided to post about how men feel about this is going to sound so foolish, but I really want to get into today's video. How men would feel about being woken up to let me just say it out loud. Okay. I asked a question: if you had already expressed to your girlfriend that you did not want children, but you awoke to your girlfriend riding your morning wood, that she wants a baby, you awoke to her riding your morning wood, how would you feel about it, and what would your reaction be? And so I posed this question out there from men, and something very, very strange, I don't like to use the word strange, but something very interesting happened. What started happening is women started responding. Oh, that's rape. Now let me tell you, the men are like, oh, well, I'll let her finish. One guy was like, I'm not going to stop her. I'll just have to hope for the best, or pray for the best, or whatever. And most of the men who are coming forward are saying that they would not mind if they woke up to some morning intercourse, even though they said that they did not, even if they had expressed before that they did not want to have children. Now the girls who were coming out were like, oh, that's rape, and so right? And this is, and I almost snapped, because the girls started coming out one by one, and what ended up happening is, as the girls came out talking about how this is so wrong, etc., number one, the women were speaking from their own point of view, how they would feel if they said that they did not want to have a baby and they woke up to a man pumping them, or woke up to their boyfriend pumping them, right? And I guess they're also imagining how they would feel if this happened to their sons, or whomever, right? But we have to understand that there's a fundamental difference between the anatomy, the biology, and the physiology, I hope that's a good word, of men and women. We have to understand that for women, the the parental investment for a woman is much greater than that for a man. In terms of, our bodies are the ones who have to carry the children for 9 months. We're the ones who have to push it out, and then we're also the ones who are stuck with the burden of raising the child if the man does not stick around. So we have to realize that, and that's not what this video is about. This video is about communication. I'm gonna pull my board out in a second. I already pre-wrote some things, but I want us women to really realize that the way we feel about something in a situation may not be the same way that a man feels about it in a situation, because it's very different for men. They are larger. But on average, men are 33% bigger than women, and also 33% stronger, even a man of equal size. And then not only that, we know that what makes the female of a species and the male of the species, the female is the one who has the larger, fewer sex cells, and the male of the species is the one who has the more abundant, smaller sex cells. And so this creates, and then also the hormonal differences. This creates an entire, the way that we are socialized is different. And I really, really want us women to please be able to realize that men are grown. And when a man says something, we have to pay attention to what it is that he's saying, and that a lot of our relationships end up messed up because we women are thinking about things from how we would feel or how we would do it from a woman's point of view, and it's not always translatable. As a matter of fact, a lot of it is not translatable because how we feel and how we would do things are based off of the premise of our gender and our socialization and our physical place in this world as the gatekeepers for children. It's a lot different because reproductive success for a man is to spread his seed far and wide. Reproductive success for a woman is to get the best donor for her egg. So let's and believe me, that's not what this video is about. I want to talk about communicating and how to communicate with men, because this, just the way the women were coming in and bogarting the conversation, just really reminded me of how, for number one, when there's this idea that when a man says something, that, oh, he doesn't really know what he's talking about, oh, he doesn't really mean it that way, oh, he must mean it this way, not that way, oh, I think he means this when he really said that. And a lot of the problems that we have in our relationships is that men are saying things, but we're discounting what it is that they're saying, disregarding what it is that they're saying, or just not even listening altogether. So let's get the board and let's talk about it. Here we go. All right, I pre-wrote some stuff because I didn't want the video to be long. All right, here we go. Listen. First one on the list is he heard you the first time. When communicating, listen, when communicating with men, you know, oh goodness, men have hormones and stuff that, like testosterone is a very different hormone than estrogen, and men have different urges than we do as women. And for some reason, and listen, hear your big sister out, for some reason when it comes to men, they don't like to be told what to do, even if it's something that they should do. So when you say something to a man, he may not respond. He may not respond because he's doing one of two things. He's either processing it, he heard you and he's processing it, or he's waiting. He's letting it sit. He's waiting and he's letting it sit on him so that enough time will go past so that it doesn't seem as if he's been told what to do. You know, he'll let it sit on his mind and he'll think about it, right? Or he'll just be waiting for enough time so that it can seem like he spontaneously came up with this idea on his own, or enough time so that he can be or seem like the originator of the thought. Because for him to take direct orders from you, oh gosh, I mean, if you can, remember I said women are 33% smaller than men on average. There's something about taking orders from someone smaller and weaker than you that actually makes it seem as if you're weaker too, or as if you're being, oh, I can't think of the right word, but you know what I'm trying to say. So he'll let it sit and wait, and he's going to do it at his own pace. Saying it again is not going to get it done any faster. As a matter of fact, all that's going to do is reset the time frame that it takes for the waiting. Then we go back into the whole thing all over again. Just like when you're playing a video game and you go and you do something and all of a sudden the timer starts again. And then it gets even worse because now you've compounded it with saying it again, which makes it even more prevalent. And this is part of the reason that when we start talking about the word nag, that the word nag is a word that is used towards women and the way that women choose to communicate when we say something over and over again, not really realizing that he heard you the first time. Me personally, listen, and you see my videos are 30 minutes long because I talk and I express and I say what it is that I need to say ad nauseum. I do. And sometimes I say things in different ways so that you can hear and understand what it is that I'm saying. In my personal life, I do that as well, because when I'm speaking to a man, I need to make sure that he understands me. For the most part, I have seen and I have been a witness to the fact that he heard me the very first time that I said it, and he understood what it was that I said, and there was no reason for me to say it again. And if you know what, I need to do an entire video on how to get men to do what you want them to do, because saying it over and over and over again is not the way. You have to kind of make them feel like it's their idea, and there's certain key words and key phrases and sentences that you can say to a man that will not be bossy and aggressive so that it puts him in the defense. You have to actually, because men are programmed to want to please women. So if you want him to do something, you have to naturally exploit his natural disposition for pleasing. So making it seem like you're bossing him around really only deflates his male essence, and it makes him feel less manly. We need to do a whole video about that. Please remind me. So here we go. Number 2 on the list. Oh, this is so important. Ladies, if he didn't say it, listen, do you see what I'm saying? He didn't say it. That's not an S. If he didn't say it, he didn't say it. I need you to remember that. When you go away from this video and there's a man in your life who you feel wants to say something, but he just hasn't said it, so you start to imagine that maybe he really meant to say it, and so you go and you continue your life as if he did say it, when in fact he really didn't. I need you to especially pay very close attention to this one, because if you're dealing with a man who is successful, I need you to please understand that this man did not gain this success as a fluke. He's successful because there were things that he did to become successful. And if you're dealing with a successful man, please, honey, please believe me, this man knows how to get what it is that he wants. If he has any modicum of success in his business life or in his personal life, if you look around, if this is a man who got lots of money and it wasn't handed down to him, even if it was handed down, it takes a certain amount of management and a certain amount of acumen to be able to hold on to money. So just look at his life. Look, if he has a very high-paced, high-powered job, believe me, he's a man that's aggressive and he knows how to go after what he wants. And when he goes into a job interview, do you think that he's going into the job interview not really stating his claim? Men know how to speak about what it is that they want and need to say. So if a man is not saying it to you, do not assume that he means to say it. You need to take it at face value. And I, as a woman, have learned that I have to rest in my femininity, and I have to be still, and I have to allow that man to say it, because there's a certain something that happens when you make a man say something. You know, there's so much that we can talk about in this video. We are a product of a lot of different things, and one of those things is what we think of ourselves and who it is that we state ourselves to be. And for a man, if he has not stated or state his claim, do not assume that he just forgot to say it. Oh, he didn't forget to say it, honey. He doesn't mean it. He has not said it because he does not want to say it or does not feel the need to say it. So please, if you want to save yourself some heartache, honey, if a man wants to be exclusive and monogamous with you, he will state that. Do not go into any type of monogamous situation with a man who has not said that he wants to be monogamous with you, honey. Save yourself the drama and the trauma. Save yourself the trauma. If he didn't say it, he did not say it. Trust me, he's a grown man. He knows how to say it. He's just not saying it, and there's a reason. There's a reason, so you have to pay very close attention. And if he's not a successful man, if he's an unsuccessful man, and his job and his life is not going how he wants it to, and he's overall a loser and stuff like that, when he's not saying it, well, I mean, you need to go and ask yourself, what is it that you're doing so, I was going to say hell-bent, but what's the word I'm trying to, head over heels. What are you doing so head over heels for a man who doesn't possess the natural ability to even take care of himself? I mean, come on now. Let's move on to the last one. And this is where it's going to get a little controversial on the second part of the last one, but I need you to think about this, okay? If what he says to you is positive, this is what your big sister needs you to do. I need you to look at his actions, okay? Because he's communicating with you all right, but you need to realize that there are a lot of different types of communication, and verbal communication is only one of them. If a man tells you something positive or affirming, you need to look at his actions and see if his actions match up with his words. If his actions do not match up with his words, please look at what he's communicating, because remember, they said actions speak louder than words. So always look at his actions and see whether or not his actions support these positive words. If he says that he wants one thing and he's really behaving as if he does not want that, then you have to look at his actions and go from there. So the second part of this is negative. If he says something negative to you, and I need you to pay very, 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 very close attention, okay? This I'm saying much more. Much more. Do you see that? It says much more. And I want you to keep in mind, listen, hear your sister out. If a man relays a negative theme to you, I need you to trust and believe that there is much, much more that he's not saying. You know, men are different types of communicators than women. And I need to do more research on this, because I don't have the answer for why men feel such discomfort with talking to the fairer sex. I don't understand it personally, because, you know, like I said, we are smaller and we are weaker than them, and that could be part of it too, because of the whole, there's a lot of different dynamics. You know, there's the ego issue. Then there's the mommy issue, and then there are a lot. It becomes very complex when a man needs to express something. There's the what was the first thing that I said? Oh gosh, because I didn't write this down in my notes. There was the, oh, I remember I said mommy issues. What was the first thing that I said? Then, well, the third one is hero issues, and there's something very interesting that happens with men when they need to say something negative to women. Okay, ego, mommy, and hero. You know, let me pause for a moment so I can figure out how to say this. How do I say this? How do I relay this to you all so that you understand what it is that I'm trying to say? Okay. You know, let's start from let's start from number 2 when we start talking about mommy issues. You know, there's something very interesting that happens when a man is a boy, and, you know, and his mother, you know, chastises him or tells him what to do, etc. You know, there's a part of him on the inside that feels a certain amount of trepidation from chastisement from women. I need to do my research on why this is that men feel such a tremendous connection or discomfort with this chastisement. The very last thing that a man wants, I mean, a man would rather you punch him in the face than to have a long, drawn out, like, conversation where you express your dissatisfaction in him. He would much rather you just jab him, really just snuff him. He would much rather that without the whole talk. He would just much rather you just start beating him up. Just avoid. That's how much discomfort they feel in it. So then there's the mommy issue, and then also the hero issue. You know, a lot of men, they don't want to be the bad guy, especially, you know, when it comes to the fairer sex, with us being the smaller, weaker ones, and how naturally they want to please us and protect us, etc. They don't want to be Mr. Bad Guy. They don't want to be the one to hurt us, etc. Especially if there's something that's going to make us cry. You know, they definitely, I mean, that you know, bringing a woman to tears with what it is that you're doing as a man is crushing, and something that men would just rather avoid. You know, so a lot of the tough conversations men are just not having. So if a man tells you something negative, I need you to know that there's much more going on. There's a lot more going on. So if a man says, listen, I don't want a relationship, there's a lot going on that you don't know, that you don't understand, so you need to please believe what it is that he's saying. You know, when he says, and this is where it can get a little controversial, because when he says something positive, you need to look at his actions and see if his actions support his words. But when he says something negative, you actually don't pay attention to your interpretation of the actions. I know this can get a little tricky, but you need to hear me out. And if you need to rewind this part, please rewind and listen to it again. Because when it comes to what if a man says, I do not want to be in a relationship, if this is what he has said with his own mouth of sound mind and body as a grown man, you have to understand that he knows things that you don't know about his life. So take it from him, hear what he's saying, and know that there's a lot more that he's not discussing. And if a man, just think of any number of things that a man says, and you know what, and when it comes to these negative things, some of their actions to us, we can interpret it in a different way. He's like, I don't want to be in a relationship, right? But yet he's always hitting you up, and he's always hanging out, and he's always doing all of this, that, and the other. I don't want a girlfriend, rather, right? You do have a relationship, but he has already expressed that he doesn't want the responsibilities of a girlfriend. So he don't think, oh yeah, okay, so now this is my boyfriend, if he has not expressed that. I hope that I'm making sense, and so that you can understand what it is that I'm saying, because this is very, 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 very important. When he's saying the negative stuff, there's so much more that you don't know about. So don't get yourself caught up in a situation where you're like, oh, he doesn't mean it like that. If a man says, I'm a dog, I'm a jerk, and I'm only going to break your heart, don't be like, oh, does he really mean that? Oh, he can't possibly mean that. Honey, yes. It's much worse than that, because if he's saying it, it's much, much worse, honestly. And then take a look at his actions. You know, take a look and see, is he really an a-hole? Remember, I said people live up to what it is that they think of themselves. And if this person thinks that he's a jerk, if he thinks that he's a bottom hole, you have to really pay attention, because these are the words that he's speaking into reality. And pay attention. That's all I'm going to say. And I hope that I've expressed my full point on that. And I'm going to let you all go off from the video. I would really love your comments below. Tell me, have you had any experience with any of this that I'm talking about? I'd really love your answers. And so listen, Wednesday, we're doing the Woman to Woman Wednesday. So I need you to come over to my website, which is written right here, TonyaTko.com. And I need you to submit your topic ideas for Woman to Woman Wednesday. And so I guess that's pretty much it. So listen, tell me what you thought about this. Are you in a situation now where any of this has been helpful? If it has, or if you think this will be helpful to a girlfriend, please share this to someone else. And that is my whole video. Hug me, hug me. I love you guys so very much. Love, 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 love. Listen, go out there and, oh, my book just fell. Go out there and love one another. Go out there, love one another. But most importantly, what? Love yourself. And believe me, there are a lot of things that I had to learn the hard way that I don't want you to have to learn. And I know the ending part of the video is a bit of a conundrum, kind of tricky. And if you need more explanation than that, write inside the comments, because I tried my best with that. And I hope that you're able, I hope that you're able to get it. I hope you're able to get it, because when it comes to saying positive things, sometimes people can inflate what it is that they're saying, and their actions may not complement their words. And then when it comes to the negative stuff, there's always a lot more hidden underneath that, and we need to take those things at face value, because a man is not going to sit you down and have those tough conversations with you willingly. It'll take a lot. And even me, to this day, I've been dating for quite some time, and I've never actually had a man sit down and be like, Tonya, we need to talk, and then get into a long, drawn-out conversation about, you know, the relationship and stuff like that. Many men just let things compound, and then or you have to ask them, you know, but they're not the initiators of it. And so you really have to ask questions. What do you mean you're an a-hole? What do you mean you're going to break my heart? Ask these questions. Ask them where they're coming up with this. Even when they say the positive things. Aha, that's a good one too. I'm glad I thought of that before the video ended. Ask them some questions. Ask them. When they say, you know, if they can't really support what it is, the positive claims that they're making to even, yeah. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. Ask questions. We're not asking enough questions. So listen, on that note, I'm out of here. We hugged already, but one more before I go. I love you all very, very much. Very, very much. Go out there and love one another. Most importantly, love yourself. Come over to my Facebook page, facebook.com. Actually, first and foremost, come to my website and join my mailing list, TonyaTko.com. Come to my Facebook page, facebook.com/TonyaTko show. Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest is at TonyaTko. Look below the video for all of the links. So I love you all. I'm out. Peace.